two, three.
I'm ready.
I'm
I'm
ready.
Yes. All right. Come on. I get that energy going. One, two, three.
I'm
ready.
ready.
All right. So today I decided to go with a story. And this story is the pencil maker story. So before the pencil maker put his pencils into a box, he held the pencil in his hand and he said, there are 5 things that you need to know before I send you out into the world. Always remember them, and you will become the best pencil you can ever be. So the pencil listened carefully. And the first lesson was, you can do many great things, but only if you allow yourself to be held in someone's hand. None of us become successful alone. We need guidance. We need mentors. We need teachers. We need people who see possibilities in us that maybe we don't see in ourselves yet. Think about those people that have shaped your life. Someone encouraged you when you were uncertain. Someone corrected you when you were heading in the wrong direction. Someone believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. We live in a world that often celebrates independence. We are told to be self-made, to figure things out on our own, to prove that we don't need anyone. But strength is not refusing help. Strength is being wise enough to recognize when guidance can take us farther. The people that grow the most are not always the people who know the most. They're often the people that remain the most teachable. They allow someone else's wisdom to shorten their learning curve. Being guided doesn't mean surrendering your identity. It means becoming humble enough to learn. A pencil cannot write while sitting untouched on the table. It fulfills its purpose when someone picks it up and puts it to use. The same is true for us. The second lesson from the pencil maker, from time to time, you will experience a painful sharpening, but you need it to become the better pencil. No one enjoys being sharpened. Sharpening is uncomfortable. Sometimes it removes something from us. It applies pressure. It changes the shape of the pencil. But without sharpening, the pencil becomes dull. It may look like a pencil. It may still have potential, but it cannot perform at its best. Life sharpens us too. It sharpens us through challenges, through feedback, rejection, difficult conversations, through seasons when things don't go according to plan. And during those moments, it's easy for us to ask, why is this happening? But perhaps a better question is, what is this developing in me? Maybe the challenge is developing patience or resilience or discipline. Maybe the difficult conversation in revealing this is a strength that maybe you didn't know that you had. There is a famous quote that says, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. We often look for growth while resisting everything that creates it. But sharpening is part of becoming, not always a punishment, sometimes a preparation. Sometimes our greatest lessons arrive disguised in those greatest challenges. The sharpening may hurt, but it also may reveal a point we need in order to make our mark. The third lesson from the pencil maker is you will be able to correct the mistakes that you make. Every pencil has an eraser. Why? Because mistakes are expected. The pencil was designed with the understanding that it would not get everything right the first time. Yet many of us live as though every mistake is proof that we're failing. If we make one wrong decision, we question our intelligence. We lose one opportunity and we question our future. We say the wrong thing and we convince ourselves the relationship will never recover. But mistakes are not evidence that you should stop. They're evidence that you're part of participating. The person who never makes the mistake is often the person who never attempts anything new. There's a difference between failure and finality. A mistake may be part of the story, but it doesn't have to be part of the ending. We can apologize, we can adjust, we can learn, we can improve, and we begin again. Maya Angelou says, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. That is the growth. The fourth lesson is the most important part of you will always be what's on the inside. A pencil's value does not come from the paint or the branding on the outside of the pencil. The value comes from the graphite inside of it. This is what allows us to write. This is what creates the mark. And that's also true for all of us. We live in a world where we place enormous emphasis on the outside, appearances, social media, recognition, possessions, what people think. The character lives on the inside. Integrity, courage, kindness, discipline, purpose is on the inside. And eventually, what's on the inside always shows up on the outside. You can polish the outside of the pencil, but if there's no graphite within it, it cannot fulfill its purpose. And the fifth lesson from the pencil maker is, on every surface where you are used, you must leave your mark. Every one of us is leaving a mark. The question is not whether we will leave one. The question is, what kind of mark will it be? We leave a mark on our families, our coworkers, our clients. We leave a mark on the people who watch how we respond. We leave a mark through our words, actions, attitude, consistency, courage. Sometimes we believe impact must be enormous in order to matter. But most of the most important marks we ever make are in the ordinary moments. The calls we returned, the person we encouraged, the apology we offered, the extra time that we gave, the calm that we brought into those difficult conversations, the belief you placed in someone who stopped believing in themselves. You may never know how deeply that one conversation may change someone else's life. You may never realize how much your example gives someone else permission to keep going. But the mark remains. We all write into the lives of others. There is another lesson to this pencil story. The more a pencil is used, the shorter it becomes. It gives something of itself every single time someone uses it. This is a beautiful picture of service. Real impact does cost something. It requires your time, your energy, your attention, your patience, your effort. Leadership is not simply standing in the front. It's pouring into others, and it's giving what you know. It's making space. It's helping someone become stronger. Because we also have to remember that even pencils need to be sharpened, protected, and occasionally put down. Giving everything without restoring ourselves eventually leaves us unable to serve well. Rest is not selfish and renewal is not weakness. Service should come from purpose, not self-destruction. A pencil does not decide that entire story at once. It writes one word at a time, one page. Our lives are built exactly the same way. We often become overwhelmed by the size of our goals. We look at the entire future and wonder, how will we ever get there? But we do not have to write the whole book today. We simply just need to write today's page very well. Yesterday's page has already been written. You may wish to erase some of those parts, but you cannot live on yesterday's page. Today, the pencil is back in your hand. And also, a pencil does not look at another pencil and say, their line is darker than mine. Their story is more impressive. They're writing faster. They have a more important page than me. They simply do the work that's in front of them. And always keep in mind that that pencil must be willing to begin. Its purpose is not fulfilled by remaining perfect inside their box. It must be willing to touch the pace, be willing to make a mistake, to become shorter, to become sharpened, to be willing to leave evidence that they were here today. Some people spend their lives protecting themselves from that imperfection. But you were not created merely to protect your potential. You were created to use it. You were created to participate. You were created to make mistakes, learn, improve, and leave your mark. Do not be afraid in being imperfect, because then you will never become impactful. Today, I want you to remember the 5 lessons of the pencil. Allow yourself to be guided. Do not resist being sharpened. Correct your mistakes. Protect what is inside and leave a meaningful mark. And ask yourself, who can I teach? Who can teach me today? What challenge can make me be sharpened? What mistake do I need to correct? What am I placing inside my mind and my heart? And what mark will I leave on the people I meet? Life is like a pencil. It becomes meaningful not by remaining perfect, but by allowing itself to be used. Today is that blank page. Your words, your choices, your attitudes, your actions are the pencil. Write something meaningful and make it a remarkable day. Have a great day, everyone.